Now we're going to learn how to do quadratic word problems. Our first step is going to be to draw a picture if it gives us something like a rectangle or a triangle. We need to draw a picture first. Then we're going to read the problem and translate words into algebra. Translate words to algebra. Once we've done that, we want to think about writing our formula. Usually this is going to be something like the area of a rectangle. Area is length times width. We're going to substitute for one variable because I don't like having two. And then we're going to solve by factoring. That's what we did yesterday. And make sure you actually answer the question. Sometimes they're going to ask for perimeter. If they ask for perimeter, don't give me area. So actually answer the question. Usually in a long word problem, this is at the very end. It's the very last sentence or statement. Okay, so let's look at two examples. This is where we really want to be underlining, highlighting, whatever works for you. The width of a rectangle. Stop. It's talking about a rectangle, so the first step is to draw a picture. So I'm going to draw my rectangle. There he is. Now I go back and I translate. It says that the width of a rectangle, which we'll represent as W, equals 11 inches less than, that means it's going to be a minus 11 at the end, its length, L. So that means if I have my length L, then I can also label my width in terms of length. So in terms of length, this would be length minus 11. The width of my rectangle is 11 inches less than its length. Please, please, please make sure that when you see the less than, you flip the order. I don't write 11 minus L. I write L minus 11. Now I need to think about my formula. Read the rest of the question. Find the dimensions of the rectangle if the area is 80 square inches. So area is A, and it's equal to 80. So I say, if my area is length times width, I can plug in 80 for my area. I don't know my length, but I know that I could write my width in terms of length, and I could write it as L minus 11. So now I only have one variable instead of two going on. And then I need to solve by factoring. It's not set equal to 0, so I need to set it equal to 0. But notice on the right-hand side, I have parentheses. So I need to distribute. L times L is L squared. L times negative 11 is negative 11 L. And that's still equal to 80. To get it set equal to 0, I need to subtract 80. So I would get 0 equals L squared minus 11 L minus 80. So all I did is subtract the 80 over after I distributed. Now I need to factor. How many terms do I have? 3 is A1. Yes, so that means I need to use the X factor. So I had L squared minus 11L minus 80 equals 0. Do my X, what multiplies to negative 80 and adds to negative 11. Well, if something's not immediately apparent, we should be making a factor tree, or a factor chart. I have 1 and 80, 2 and 40. 3 doesn't go into 80, 4 does. 20 times. I'm still not very close because I need something that subtracts to 11. Right now I'm at 16. Does 5 go in? Yes, it ends in a 0, so let's do that. 5 goes into 8 once. Bring down the 0. 16. Hey, 5 and 16, that is going to give me the numbers I want. So I have a 5, I have a 16. One of those needs to be negative, and it's going to be my bigger number. So that means my factored form would be, whoops, we're doing L. L plus 5 times L minus 16 equals 0. And now I need to set each factor equal to 0. So L plus 5 equals 0. L minus 16 equals 0. Now, if I subtract 5 from both sides, I get that L equals negative 5. If I add 16, I get L equals 16. Now, one of these answers doesn't make sense. Negative 5. I'm talking about length. Can I have negative length? No. So that cannot be an answer. So this is how we get around having two solutions. So that means my length is 16. So I'm going to write that down for my dimension. And now I have to find what is my width, because it asks what are the dimensions. It says the width, if we go back to what we had before, width is L minus 11. So if I plug in 16, I would have 16 minus 11, which would be 5. So my length is 16 and my width is going to be 5. And since it asks for the dimensions, that is my final answer. 16 is my length, my width is 5. Let's look at another one. So first, my step is to draw a picture. The length of a rectangle. So draw a rectangle. Done. Okay. Reread the question and translate. The length of a rectangle, let's say that's L, means equals 7 meters less than, means I'm going to do a minus 7 at the end, twice the width, 2W. So please, please, please make sure if it says less than, swap the order that everything's appearing in your equation. Okay. So now I need to label my picture. I know that I have my width and my length. Look at your equation. I have length given in terms of width. So I'm going to call this W, and I'm going to call this side 2W minus 7. Or I could think of it in terms of my formula. What formula am I going to use? Well, let's look at what they gave me in the last part. The area is 60 square meters. So that means A is 60. So if I plug into my formula of area equals length times width, I know that my area is 60, so 60. My length is equal to 2W minus 7, and then I just still have this little W hanging out there. Now, similarly to the last problem, I need to distribute, and this one looks a little bit weird because what I need to distribute is kind of at the end. So I need to distribute W in, and if I wanted to put that in front, I could. 2W times W is 2W squared. W times negative 7 is negative 7W, and that whole thing is still equal to 60. Now I need to get this by itself, so I need to subtract 60 from both sides. And that gives me 0 equals 2W squared minus 7W minus 60. Now I need to factor. Do I have a GCF No. How many terms do I have? 3. Is A 1? No. So I need to be using the X box. I need to use the X box. So let's go and factor. My expression is 2w squared minus 7w minus 60 equals 0. So to use the X box, I need to multiply first times last, and that gives me negative 120 at the top. And put my negative 7 at the box. Sorry, that was an ugly X. And I'm thinking what multiplies to negative 20 and adds to negative 7. So I like to store things that are kind of obvious, like 10 and 12. Well, that's not going to give me 7. Could do 40 and 3. No, that's way too far away from each other. So if all else fails, write your list of factors. 120. 120. 2 times 60. We already said 3 and 40. We have 4 and 30. 5 definitely goes in. It goes into 12 twice with a remainder of 2 and goes into 24 times. So I got 5 and 24. I'm seeing a lot of things that are multiples of 6, so that would be 6 and 20. I'm getting pretty close. That's 14. Keep going. Is it divisible by 7? No. 8. Yes, I can look at the 4. That would be 8 and 15. Ooh, let me show you how you can get that. Divide. How I did it easily is I look at 4, because 4 is 8 divided by 2, and see the 30 is still even, so I just divide that by 2, and that's how I got the 15 easily. Or you could do long division. 8 once, bring down your 0, and we get 15. I can stop because I got my difference of 7. Now, since I have a negative down at the bottom, I know I need at least one negative. There it goes. But don't forget, you have to do the box. Don't forget the box, because we said at the beginning it needs to be X box, and you should have drawn your picture. I did not, sorry. Let's put our first term in the first box, last term in the last box, and my X factor goes on the diagonal. And we need to take out a GCF. Does anything go into 2 and 15? No. Oh, and look, I didn't use the right variable. There we go. Those should both be W. Just as long as you're consistent. There is a W in both, so I can take out a W. What goes into 8 and 60? Let's see. 4. What goes into 2 and 8? 2, and that will be a W. What goes into 15 and 60? That will be 15. And let's check our signs. This is a positive 8, so this should be a positive 4. This is a negative 15, so this should be negative. So let's think about solving this. W plus 4 equals 0, and 2w minus 15 equals 0. If I subtract 4 from the first one, I would get w equals negative 4. But can I have a negative width? No, so I have to cross that one out. Then for the next one, I need to add 15, so 2w equals 15, and divide by 2, so w equals 15 divided by 2. Now in this case, I know I say fractions are your friends. I probably don't want a fraction because I don't talk about width being 15 over 2. So if I have $15 and split between two friends, that means we each have $7.50 or 7.5. If my width is 7.5, we said that length, sorry, having issues with the marker. We said length is 2w minus 7. So I need to do 2 times 7.5 minus 7. Okay, don't think too hard. We just did what 2 times 7.5 is. That's what we started with, 15. And 15 minus 7 is going to give me 8. So my length is 8. So my final answer would be that my width is 7.5 and my length is 8. All right, that's it. Just go back if you have any questions and replay it until it kind of starts making sense, and we'll do some practice tomorrow in class.